What is up? You good? Good. On our play for this week, Super Smash Brothers creator Sakurai teases new project in like the best, like crazy way. Nintendo is developing an MMO. It sounds real interesting. No Spider-Man 2 DLC. But before you freak out, is that good news? Could be. Is AA Studios dead? Ex PlayStation CEO seems to think so. All this and more in season 8, episode 42 of Press X Start Gamers Digest.
The meaning of life.
Mm-hmm. You know it. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, DJ, aka Sexy Bad Choices, aka I have come back from the brink of vengeance with Gundam of Requiem, and you know it's actually pretty good. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it on the podcast because it's not game related. Actually, it's gonna be game related because the model's gonna come to GBO2. Anyways, I am joined by
Sean M.F. Ross.
What does the MNF stand for?
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
One of the fundamental facts of life, you know what I mean? All right, now I know who we are. Press X Start Gamers Digest is a video podcast that condenses most important gaming news from this past week-ish into an hour-long meal just for you. I kind of lost myself on the thing. We are live on YouTube every week when we can make it because life is hard.
But getting to record on Sunday is not easy.
You're so right. Oh, that is the truth. Don't forget, you can support us by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and hit the notification bell. If you are listening, we greatly appreciate you leaving us a review on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever podcast service you're currently tuned in on. And if you want, you can join our conversation by joining our Discord at pressxfrom2start.com/Discord. Recently, we've been talking about... What are you talking about? I guess
bullshit.
Yeah.
Just pure effery going on in the chat. Come join us.
He's not wrong. All right. Now that we have that out the way, let us jump into... Yes, that is switched, because if it wasn't switched, I would be looking like a fool. The gaming news with number 1. Oh, I didn't switch this over. Okay. Super Smash Bros. Creator teased development on new game project. This comes to us from Game Rant by way of... This is not Game Rant. Oh, because I switched it there, but I didn't switch it on the doc.
Good
I'm
job.
silly. By way of J. Brody Shiri?
Sure. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. Yeah. So, Masahiro? I don't know why I couldn't pronounce his first name. Masahiro Sakurai, the creator of the Super Smash Bros. And Kirby franchises, recently teased his next major project while wrapping up his popular YouTube video series. Sakurai joined the developer HAL Laboratory at the age of 19, where he created the character Kirby. And directed the original Kirby Dream Land. In 1999, he directed the first Super Smash Bros. For the N64, bringing together 12 of the big N's most popular characters in a frantic crossover brawler. Later entries would refine this formula and add more gaming mascots.
Culminating.
I almost said something else. In 2018, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate would add its final DLC character, Sora of Kingdom Hearts fame, in October 2021. Damn, that's 3 years ago. Jeez. Marking the end of Sakurai's work on the title. In the years since, Sakurai hinted at what would come next for him in a series of online videos debunking rumors that he was retiring after Ultimate, while sharing his thoughts on the ever-changing landscape of the video game industry. Recently, Sakurai announced that he was finishing his YouTube series, giving him more time to work on his next video game. He revealed that he wrote a proposal for this mystery project while he was still working on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate back in 2021. Though it would still take some time to put together a development team and bring his vision to life. Hence, Sakurai was able to start his YouTube channel with all 260 episodes recorded in advance. So
That's a lot.
what what that means is he recorded all of these videos that he has on his YouTube channel and basically was just posting them with the present or I guess with the was a presentation of him actually not working. He's actually just doing this YouTube channel thing.
Yeah.
But he
Sharing
was
his
actually
knowledge.
yeah, but he was actually developing a game from 2021 to now.
This man's gonna
So,
work himself to death for us.
bro, it is so crazy because like there was a whole story about how he had like what injured his wrist because of
Mhm.
how he was working with the characters in Ultimate and how he's so ingrained in that
I
process.
mean, that was his alibi. He's probably looking at Smash Brothers Rule 34, but, well,
Oh no.
he had to say something to let that workman's comp go through.
Right. So yeah, like this is super exciting news. The I guess the preamble to this is,
Yeah.
he worked on Smash Brothers, he worked on Kirby. So the question is he going to be working on one of those two things? I I don't
Hmm.
I don't think it's going to be Smash Bros. Is in a weird place because Ultimate is literally like the best form of Smash Brothers. You can reboot it, but I think it gets kind of
People are gonna be like, "Oh,
weird.
where's this character? Where's this character?" Like, what core characters do you keep in it now? And I doubt
Yeah,
it's gonna be another Smash Brothers game before whatever his next mystery game is, so it'll be a while.
yeah. So
It
I
does
I'm go ahead.
I was gonna say it does say that he's gonna provide a more concrete announcement for whatever he's making soon, and I'm willing to bet it's gonna be at the Switch 2 announcement, whenever that is.
Yeah. So there is the rumor slash bet that the Switch 2 announcement will still happen this year, even though like the rumors about it being like sometime next year. Like people are still kind of betting that it might be this year. And the fact that, Sakurai now is just kind of giving up the goose on this a bit. It's like, okay, well, maybe this actually might be sooner than next year. Like this, maybe it might be before Game Awards. I don't think it would be I don't think it'd be a Game Awards thing because I don't think Nintendo doesn't need Game Awards to sell the Switch. It would be really, really cool announcement, but Nintendo wouldn't. Nintendo does weird things, and I think
Oh,
that'd be a thing.
Sakurai is only well, he's not only. He's 54 years old. He doesn't look it. God damn.
Mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. It's all those games he plays. Keeps you young.
I guess.
So yeah, like this is really, really interesting. It is really crazy to see how he worked this out to record 260 videos ahead of time and basically was releasing it in a period of 3 years. And it's like
Mhm.
no one thought anything of this. Everyone's like, oh, this he and his videos were actually really, really like
Yeah.
knowledgeable and gave like really good advice. So it's a thing of just like it's not even like he phoned them the videos. So it's just like this is just so crazy. But yeah, this is awesome. I think we're going to see an announcement soon. My guess is going to be that this will probably be a just completely new thing from him, and I think that would make the most sense because Smash Brothers, as I said, is in a good place to do a reboot. I think it'd be too soon between now and Ultimate, and people are
Yeah.
still playing and loving Ultimate, so it's just like don't touch it. Like you can port it over to the Switch too, and I don't think anyone really have an issue with it. So just leave it alone, make something new. That's kind of what I think is going to happen.
Yeah.
There's been no rumors on what the game is going to be at or anything like that. But yeah, so that's number one in the crazy Nintendo department. Number two, Nintendo's mysterious playtest begins to leak. This comes to us from The Verge by Jess Weatherbed. Cool name. So, if you was under a rock and you missed it, like we did, because work and 9 to 5 and my thing. There we go. Nintendo about a week ago, last week, they said that they're going to run this playtest, and they're going to have like 1,000 people, like 15,000 people or something like that, like a
Yeah.
kind of low number. And you have to sign up for the test, and the test requires you to have certain Nintendo online features, all that stuff. People got in, and Nintendo said they would like for people not to share the information of this playtest. It wasn't an NDA though. It was just like, we would like for you
Hey,
not to
can you
do
be
this,
nice
please.
and yeah,
Yeah.
keep it
So
to
of
yourself?
course, people immediately put online what they have essentially found out from the playtest, and this is what
Mhm.
they found out. So this appears to be Nintendo's attempt to develop its first MMO style game. According to the game description, the goal is to work with others to fully develop a massive, expansive planet by utilizing creativity and framed resources. Framed resources. Farmed? I think it's supposed to be farmed resources. I
Yeah,
think that makes more sense. Yeah.
yeah.
Players will encounter new lands, enemies, and resources as they progress to utilize beacons that create zones to develop the environment around where they're placed. These beacon zones are personal. Players can only move, lift, or edit items in the zones they have placed and can't edit anything within someone else's beacon. Interesting. There's a separate social hub called the Dev Core where players can level up, obtain items, and interact with each other. Nintendo also describes UGC content. UGC is user generated content features for creating and sharing custom content. But players are required to pass an in game test to show that you understand the importance of respectful communication before this capability
Sure.
can be unlocked. That is hilarious. So, at a glance, the game shares some similarities with family friendly MMOs like Minecraft and Roblox. The IP is either entirely new in that it doesn't feature any recognizable Nintendo characters, or it's a placeholder for the game system itself, meaning it could be part of an existing franchise at release, i.e., like a Pokemon online game.
Yeah.
All we know for sure is that previous speculation suggests that the playtest would bring GameCube titles to Nintendo Switch Online, which can be put to rest. That's not happening. So this is really interesting that Nintendo is actually making like an MMO kind of thing. Um, we're probably going to get more details from this when the actual playtest happens and people just get all loosey goosey with the screenshots and stuff. But I
They
think
looking to get sued.
mm, true. That's true. That's true. That's a good point, especially after Nintendo just finished going after one of the
They
emulator
they asked you nicely.
people. You're right.
Mm,
You're not wrong, actually. Um, so yeah, this is real interesting, and of course, whatever I think this is, I think it will be a Nintendo Switch 2 thing. I don't think it's going to be a Nintendo Switch thing. Like I think, actually, I take that back because this is going to work on Nintendo Switch, so it'd have to at least
yeah, I would
function on the
just
Switch. Yeah,
um, yeah, I guess so.
yeah. I mean, if it's going to be an online thing, even if it's akin to like a Roblox or a Minecraft, Minecraft works on everything, Roblox works on everything. Like I
Mhm.
imagine they'd probably have it so it can scale up and down depending on the console you're using. So
Yeah,
I guess yeah, that makes sense. The so what is interesting here is that it seems that there's two distinct zones. There is the open world area where players will encounter new lands, enemies, and resources, and they can utilize beacons and essentially create like a home there. I guess sort of like in a way like an animal crossing kind of thing.
mm,
But then the social hub, I guess, is where you take all of your treasures and stuff that you found from the like world area and you level up, you obtain items, interact with that actually kind of sounds like Destiny in that you would collect like grimoires, which is just like little loot boxes, and then you go cash them in like the little hub area. Huh. And Nintendo also describes UGC content. So I guess that'll be like a third pillar for this where you can put the UGC content in maybe the beacon area. I don't know. We'll get more information soon on this. Anyways, this sounds really interesting and very different and very fresh from Nintendo. So the hope is that Nintendo doesn't make this just a one-off thing and it's like a completely new IP. The
yeah,
hope that they include a lot of the Nintendo, I guess, sparkle that they do, and it's gonna have like a Mario hat, it's gonna have like a Yoshi cap, it's gonna be a Wario costume. Like, I think that would probably be the cool thing.
It'll be their
And
new thing to print money.
yeah, and then there's also the whole thing of this could just be a Pokemon, like a stripped out like Pokemon system that's gonna be in the next Pokemon game. Speaking of Pokemon, there has been more leaks and stuff. We're not gonna cover it because it's kind of like it's all over the place in terms of what's real, what's not real, and it's just easy just to stay away until we get official confirmation. But we
Mm.
do have official confirmation from number 3. Spider-Man 2 DLC hopes dashed as Insomniac confirms we have no additional story content planned while touting the new PC port. And this comes to us from Games Radar by way of scrolling all the way up, scrolling all the way up. Dustin Bailey. So, as the title suggests, there will be no new story DLC content from Insomniac for Spider-Man 2. Yes, we know that there was
What?
leaks that had pointed to about 3 of them, including like a Venom thing,
And
and
a
it doesn't
multiplayer thing.
and a multiplayer thing, yeah. And it seems that that's all been canceled. And of course, like that is always the thing that we have to, be sensitive about when it comes to these leaks is that sometimes we are looking at information that is years old. We don't know how current stuff is, and we don't know where the devs' heads are at the time versus the things that we see. And again, that has to be said for the Pokemon leaks as well, because people are showing stuff, and it's just like we don't know how old this stuff is, but people are just like going off like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be here, this is gonna be there, this is gonna be that." And it's just like, okay, guys, calm down. But yeah, so what Spider-Man 2 or what Insomniac did show was this new PC port that will be coming out in I should have had that on me
Yeah, DJ.
relatively soon. Relatively soon. We'll say relatively soon until I find the date. But with them saying no DLC, I think it's also important to realize that that doesn't mean that there won't be a standalone game like a Miles Morales, because Miles Morales is different from DLC in the eyes of Insomniac, because the DLC that Insomniac had was like the city that never sleeps or whatever with like
Yeah,
Black Cat
but
and stuff.
what would you I mean, I guess the Venom no, but that's gonna be a whole ass game.
No,
Maybe a prequel game for
I think
Venom?
what they need to I think what they could do is that the standalone thing could be a Venom thing that is exclusively, you are, I guess, spoilers, Harry as Venom.
Yeah.
No, wait. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's how it ends. Yeah, yeah. You're Harry as Venom and you're doing your Venom thing or whatever. And that could end with the introduction to like the official introduction of like Carnage. And then
But Carnage
something
is
can
canceled,
happen.
so I doubt that.
No, no, no. No, Carnage is still in the thing. It's just that the Carnage
The
DLC
DLC
is
is canceled.
canceled. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think they can combine it into a standalone thing and of course just make more money off of that versus the DLC. And then have that be the setup for Spider-Man 3 with whatever they want to do with that. Because they also introduced like the chameleon and other characters.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of places they can go with that. And I think them shoring up, I guess, resources for I'm gonna go ahead and say they're showing resources for Wolverine. Because I think there was a rumor that Wolverine's gonna be shown probably at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
So I feel like that might have been like one of the reasons why they kind of like switch gears with this. But yeah, I still didn't find when the Spider-Man 2 PC version is going to come out, but oh, I can just click on this announcement blog link and that would probably January 2025. There you go. Now you know. January
Hmm.
2025, be there or be soaked in webs. I don't know. Hey man, do
Okay.
whatever you want to do. All right. Weird tangent. Weird tangent. So apparently scientists has figured out how to make um spidey web
Oh, yeah, I
that
saw that.
yeah shoots out like a needle and like yeah cool. It's like moth silk or whatever. So I guess Mothman, whatever. Hey guys, how you doing? You liking the content? I'm happy you are. Don't forget, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you are listening and not watching, please leave us a review. Please tell your friends about the podcast. Please go ahead and just subscribe to the YouTube channel because we would like that number to go up. And we appreciate that number going up for you to do that for us. So please. And then, of course, you can join a conversation by joining Discord at pressx102start.com/Discord. Thank you. Number 4. Gotta get my mouth ready. Former PlayStation exec says there is a collapse of creativity in the industry. This comes to us from Eurogamer.net by way of Ed Nightingale. So, former PlayStation exec Sean Layden has discussed the state of the games industry, stating that there is a collapse of creativity and that relying on blockbusters is a death sentence. Layden took to stage at Gamescom Asia alongside Raw Fury co-founder and chief publishing officer Gordon Van Dyke, where the pair discussed the disappearance of AA studios. In the past, said Layden, studios focused simply on whether a game was fun rather than monetization schemes, though admitted risk tolerance was fairly high. Yes, it was. Today,
Whack.
the entire cost. So what?
I said whack.
Today, the entry cost for making AAA games is in triple-digit millions now, he continued. I think naturally risk tolerance drops, and you're looking at sequels, you're looking at copycats because the finance guys who draw the line says, well, if Fortnite made this much money in this amount of time, my Fortnite knockoff can make this in the amount of time. We're seeing a collapse of creativity in games today with studio consolidation and the high cost of production. Further, Layden stated, AA is gone, which he describes as a threat to the ecosystem, noting the general standards of games, including indie titles, is much higher thanks to achievement in tools, he continued. Now we can just get a bit more interesting and excitement and exposure for those lower budget, but super creative and super unusual types of games. I like to see more of that because we're just going to rely on the blockbusters to get us through. And I think it's a death sentence. Okay. So a lot said there. Go ahead.
It's just, I've been saying this for a while. The creativity is gone. The bean counters have taken over. And like you said, they're just looking at what worked for somebody else and hoping that it'll work for them. And that ain't the case. People can tell when stuff, for the most part, usually is genuine. It's just a sad state where all the innovation is coming from indie games, but a lot of people refuse to play indie games, like Cameron or whoever, because they just look down on it. They need big budget stuff to justify their purchase of their expensive ass consoles when you should be able to play everything.
Yeah. So I look at this in a very weird way. Was like, I don't disagree with what Sean Layden is saying in terms of the entry cost for making AAA games is like super crazy high, but I think the idea that creativity is gone, I disagree, and I think for me what it is that the there's like a dichotomy where us people who play games say that we want new games, we want different games, but we don't support that. So it's like, as you say, like those
Well,
indie games
the people who are
are
asking for that are a loud minority.
yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
They're a loud minority that is saying that they want those games. And like the actual majority are buying these sequels because they like the games that they played before and they're just buying into the sequel. And it's
Mhm.
like that that is essentially the cycle that's happening as the undercurrent of like, oh, we're getting the same games over and over again. Like, this is terrible. This is like whatever X, Y, and Z. And it's like the actual gamer doesn't really have an issue with that because they get to play their Call of Duty or they get to like just
Yeah.
continue playing their Fortnites. And it's just like I think what is happening is that there are games that are like smaller titles that are doing really well. For example, like Black Myth Wukong, where like they made that for $40 million. I guess $70 million
Yeah.
technically based off of US conversion rate or whatever. And that's technically double A. Like that's not indie. That's probably double A. They're like Animal Well, which I guess Animal is considered indie.
Yeah.
I think
Technically.
yeah, I think the other thing is that like there hasn't been a real 'cause I think the line between double A and indie has blurred. So some of these studios that would probably be indie probably have more funding to be actual double A versus indie.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like I I get it, but at the same time I'm like I don't know. I don't see the whole collapse of creativity because there are really unique games out there, but those
Uh,
no, but those are just indie games. And it's the thing of like what
he's
we
not
have left
referring to the indie games though. He's
well,
talking about
double A.
double and
But I
triple A. Yeah.
think yeah, but I think you have to reassess your idea of indie games and just consider them as games. Like, sure, there's going to be like the really, 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 really small games like a Balatro, which is a card game, but it's a successful game that was made by one person. Like that is like an indie game. Like Hello Games, like they are considered double A, and look how well their game is doing. And it's just the thing of like it's to me it feels like you just have to surf the internets more deeply to find these
Nah,
creative
people just want
games
what's spoon fed to them.
more than but yeah, I know, but that's the thing, like you are going to get the games that are served to you because those games have like really big marketing budgets and those are
Mhm.
like the AAA games, so it's just like it's just harder because there's more games out there. It's harder for you to really get past that surface level of marketing to get to like
Yeah.
the games that are probably for you, but you just don't get served. So I think that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just like I kind of agree with this, but at the same time I kind of don't. And I think the whole risk tolerance thing is that for AAA studios, they don't want to spend $100 million in a game and it doesn't sell. So they're going to look at the market and see what works and then kind of shoot for like a variation of that, which is I don't
They don't need to
necessarily
spend 100 million on each game. They need to learn to be more efficient and reuse stuff, and people need to stop being stupid.
so that's another thing that I was reading something. I was like, oh, I kind of didn't think about that. But like the reason why like some of these games are so expensive is just because they're in like California and like you have to pay people
Yeah.
a living wage and like it's just expensive in California. But like you have other places like I was gonna say like Ubisoft isn't doing well. But like other places where like the living wage isn't so high, it's like those would be better off, but it's just that that's a different story in terms of just games, just some games just not doing well. But I mean, that's also just the industry as a whole all the time. Like just some studios just won't do well, and unfortunately, just because of whatever circumstances. Anyways, it's like yeah, but we already kind of know all this, so it's just like okay. Eh, I don't really know. I don't really know what the answer is because there is no answer, right? Like
I suppose.
yeah. Yeah, I guess just keep making games and see what happens.
Keep making games to get laid off. Number 5.
Project 007 is a young bond for gamers and hopefully the start of a new trilogy. IO Interactive boss says, "Oh, Look at
How?
it's a new IP. Oh,
No, it's
from
a
IO.
collapse of creativity.
Right. All right. This comes to us from IGN by way of Kate Bailey. IO Interactive. No, actually, no, I'm gonna skip ahead some. Okay, yeah. Speaking with IGN in a wide-ranging interview as part of the I got a burp. Today's
Mhm.
Mind's Eye publishing deal, Arbach, Arbach? No, Abrak?
Yeah.
Yeah. Said that Project 007 is being fully developed, published, and funded by IO Interactive, and that there is a lot of cool stuff coming up. We absolutely feel like 20 plus years of training for the. Why is my thing is bugging out right now? Jesus. Okay.
Man, it's
Yeah, the abs is making the screen do that. All right. We absolutely feel like 20 plus years of training for the agent fantasy, creating an agent that travels the world and globetrotting whatnot has given us some know-how on that. But obviously, James Bond is a different IP. It's a huge IP. It's not our IP. It's actually the first IP that is not our original IP from ground
he
up.
sounds like Trump.
Right? So like I think this is actually really cool. Like I always admire Hitman from
Yeah.
afar. I never really got into it just because I felt like the character was just boring and
I mean, you're supposed
it's
to insert yourself or your own personality
exactly,
in it.
exactly. Yeah, and that was the thing of like I understood that, but I never actually gave it time to really like. I think there was one of the games or something came out for PlayStation. I played a little bit of like, oh, this is fun, but again, it was just like there was no character for me to like really glom onto to like really like
Yeah.
enjoy the game more than the gameplay. So I think them basically just using the Bond IP, I think that's a really cool idea. It makes total sense. I imagine Hitman probably came from some like tweak on the Bond idea. So
Yeah.
it makes sense to me. Match made in heaven. So yeah, I'm actually really excited for this and for them to show something. Hopefully, we get something this year at the Game Awards. Maybe I don't know. Would be cool though. Where we at? Okay, so we can just quickly go over this. So, as you might have caught it or may have missed it because it was just a partner preview. Microsoft Xbox had, I don't know why I said Microsoft Xbox, jeez. Xbox had their little partner preview showcase. They showed a total of 15 games. Out of the 15 games, 3 of them was exclusive to Xbox, being Subnautica 2, Mistfall Hunter, and The Legend of Babo, which that dog looks mad freaky. Um, one of the big things that was kind of a little thing, but also a big thing that came out of that was that the actually, you know what? Let me just pull this up and then we can just work. So yeah, the Like a Dragon Yakuza pirate in Hawaii. I don't remember the title, and I won't. They actually changed their release date, so now they are on the
They bumped it up a week.
yeah. So I think it's on the 21st. So now
Mm.
it's not the same day as Monster Hunter, but it's the same day as Avowed.
Nobody
So
cares about that.
yeah,
Everybody knows
it's
what a real fire is.
I feel so sorry for Avowed, man. But yeah, we'll see. It is that thing of I feel like there is enough separation between Avowed players and like a Dragon player, Yakuza players,
Yeah.
and also the fact that Avowed's going to be on Game Pass, where I'm not sure if I don't think like a Dragon's going to be on Game Pass, so people can always just jump in and out of that game while they buy this game. But yes, all the games that was shown at the partner preview. So they started off with Alan Wake 2. That featured the Lake House expansion that looked creepy. I'm not going to show the trailers here because at this point you've seen it if you cared about it. Chronos which Chronos: The New Dawn, which is the Blooper Team's next game. Blooper Team, they made Silent Hill 2, I guess a remake, Silent Hill 2 remake, and they also made The Median. This looks like sort of like a BioShock meets Dead Space kind of mashup. It
Yeah, it
looks
looked
interesting.
interesting to me.
Yeah. Blind Fire looks like it's going to be put out to die.
Huh.
It is a uh it's a first person shooter where you play in dark rooms and your muzzle fire off your gun give light, your reload makes like sound, and you have to work off that to find the person you're going against and kill them.
That sounds like something that should have been an indie game, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. And then as we talked about, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, that is a title. That continues to look good. We got Mouse PI for Hire, which I first I thought was a Cuphead thing, but this is a essentially think the original like Mickey Mouse kind of black and white, but
Yeah.
it's like set in the 40s and you have a Tommy gun, you're shooting stuff, and it looks pretty interesting. Subnautica 2, you know it's Subnautica. It's the underwater game that you play as a submarine. What?
Mhm.
Not a submarine. You play as a person who swims underwater and stuff, and there's like monsters and stuff. NOL, I talked about that earlier this year. That is a really cool game that's coming to Xbox finally. Eden Zero looks bad. Internal Strands looks good. So Eternal Strands was a game that we saw last year, I think. Maybe Games
Yeah.
Award, maybe Summer Games Fest. It looks like a mashup of Shadow of the Colossus with like Breath of the Wild, kinda. It looks really cool. Mistfall Hunters is the interesting, like Souls like it's like a multiplayer Souls like game that looks really kind of cool. Wheel Hunter is a bike game.
We
I don't really have.
World.
Oh yeah, yeah. I said Wheel Hunter. Yeah, Wheel World. Yeah, and then Phasmophobia, you know what that is. That's the spooky. You're in the house with the hauntings. So you're trying to figure this stuff out. And then Legend of Balbo looks weird. Just looks weird. Wu
Mm.
Chang Fallen Feathers looks really, really cool. That might be my next like Black Myth Wukong game once that comes out next year. And then they last showed FBC Firebreak. You haven't seen anything on this, right?
And nope, because I was not interested. But
Okay.
it looks interesting. I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, so this FBC Firebreak is set in the world of Control. Like this is the rumored multiplayer game that Remedy Studios was working on.
Yeah.
It is it's a 3-player PvE game. It looks kind of interesting. I
I hate that they're releasing like 3-player games.
Instead of 4.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
dynamically balanced.
Yeah.
If you have 3 or 4 people, like
Yeah.
sometimes people get left out just because you only have 3.
I
Goddamn.
I wish we knew like the reason, like the developer. I mean, I guess the developer reason is just like resource costs and that
Y'all
stuff.
niggas don't got 3 friends to play with.
But yeah, like it would be cool if they made it like scalable, so you can do 2, 3, or 4
Yeah.
people, like instead of just having it set for 3. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think it looks good. I'm gonna be honest. I think it's a cool idea. I feel like from what I seen of Control and heard of like Alan Wake, this doesn't seem
Mhm.
like it has the vibes of either of those games. It
We'll see.
feels Yeah, it feels very like frenetic and like rockstar-y kind of. And it not rockstar as in like the developer, but like rockstar was like, yeah. So like I don't know. We'll see though. We'll see. It's gonna be on Game Pass. It's also coming to PlayStation as well. I'm not sure if it's gonna be on PS Plus or how
I
they're
highly
gonna
doubt
release
it.
it. Yeah, but we'll see. So yeah, that was the games. I watched the whole thing. I gave it about like a 7.5 out of 10. I thought it was a really good showing. It wasn't There wasn't really anything that was like super like, oh man, this is like crazy for me.
Yeah.
But yeah. And then like 80% of the games are gonna come on PlayStation as well. All right. That is it for the big stuff. Now let's jump into the quick news, which will be pretty quick. Starting with number 7, Black Myth Wukong Xbox version rated. Is it related? Rated by ESRB. This comes from Insider Gaming. By I think this is a Mike Straw thing. No, this is a. I'm waiting for a thing to load. Jeez. Um, uh, Grant Taylor Hill. So yeah, Xbox or Black Myth Wukong is finally coming to Xbox. If you remember, they had some issues with the Xbox version, and that essentially delayed that version for this amount of time. So yeah, you guys will be able to get to play Xbox or get to play
Good for
Black
you.
Myth. So yeah, good luck. I wish you the best of luck. Number 8, Tales of Kenzara Zhao team put on redundancy notice amid funding struggles. So this
Mm.
sucks. Like I feel bad for the team because if you don't know, Tales of Kenzara was a game that came out this year that was a very like African heavily themed game, kind of like a Metroidvania. Like it was. I mean, I
An
say
African Metroidvania.
yeah. I mean, kind of that's kind of like it, African like deities, kind of like gods and like magic inspired kind of thing. I think the art style was really cool. I think the concept's really cool. My main issue with it was just the last boss. I felt the last boss was kind of
Cheap.
weird. It didn't really make sense. Yeah, it
Oh,
was also cheap. Yeah, but like all as a whole package, I thought the game was really cool and it had promise for like a sequel. Like there was really cool ideas and concepts in that game that they could have refined and made
explored.
better.
Yeah.
But it seems that they're not going to be working on a sequel and they're be working on a different game entirely. And they are looking for someone essentially to fund them to let them make this game. And while they're looking for the funding, they have to put everyone on redundancy because they don't have money from how much they have sold. And this studio has gone through racist struggles because people have been essentially just doing the normal thing that you do when anything black enters the market. People, yeah, anything you can think of, that's what's been thrown at them, and they've had to deal with. Like the head of the studio guy, he's gone out and
Yeah.
talked about how just terrible people have been to them for no reason, just because the studio is black focused. And yeah, there's millions of games out there and people just one dogpile on this one studio. But yeah, that just sucks. I hope they are able to get the funding and able to make their next game, hopefully go back to Tales of Kanzara. um Number 9, Netflix closes AAA game studio before it ever released a game. That sounds familiar.
That's
Very
rough.
familiar. Yeah. This comes to us from The Verge, by way of Ash Parish. So, according to GameFile, the Shutter Studio was known as Blue in 2022. Netflix announced the hire of former Overwatch producer. Like, so they basically had a stat crew. Um, it's I don't know, man. It sucks that they didn't even get a chance to put their game out, or we didn't get a chance to see a trailer of the game before they closed it. So
I mean,
to
that
me,
would
that
just be
kind
an
of
MTT, so you don't want that.
that's true too. To me, it feels like they probably couldn't decide on something. To note,
Mhm.
one of the he was a God of War like character designer or something. I
Yeah.
follow him on Instagram, and he left Santa Monica to go to Netflix for this new studio. And I was like, oh dang, they got him. Like that's gonna be a crazy thing. Now it's up in smoke. Terrible.
Mm.
And lastly, number 10, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown team disbanded at Ubisoft. It's claimed. This comes from Insider Gamer. Before I read this, I want to let you know that this is sort of a just rumor. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but it seems that like it's been picked up by like the major outlets. So I'm thinking that this is actually going to be a real thing. So this comes from Mike Straw. So essentially, the Prince of Persia: Lost Crown team has been disbanded because they couldn't come to an agreement on what to do next, and Ubisoft was doing the Ubisoft thing of like, no, you're not going to do anything. So I'm just actually going to read this report, even though this is like
Yeah.
quick hit. I'm going to read it. The report claims that a decision about the future of the game was decided a few weeks after the release of the game. That's back in February. It was made clear by Ubisoft that after releasing DLC and cosmetic for the game, support would be done. It was also said that members of the core dev team fought for the aforementioned sequel and even more expansions.
Did you play
Lastly,
it?
no. I played the demo of it. It was fine. It didn't really grab me. I said I was going to focus more on Tales of Kenzara,
Yeah.
but it seems like out of the two, Lost Crown was definitely like the better game to play. But I just never went back to it. Lastly, it said that Ubisoft didn't want another game because those higher ups in the company, because those higher up in the company thought it would cannibalize the potential long-term sales of the first title. How dumb is that? The higher ups at Ubisoft thought making a sequel to a game would cannibalize the sales of the first game. So they just go
Hey, man.
they
It's
like,
people at the top that don't actually games, just bean counters and all that good shit.
and that's why Tencent breathing down their neck right now, because stuff like this, like that doesn't make whatever. And the shame part, the thing that really sucks about this is that I will definitely not be surprised when I see the Lost Crown up for nominations when it comes for the Game Awards. And people are like, oh, this game is great. Oh, and like people are gonna play and be like, oh, I want more of this. And it was talking me like,
No. Buy it
sorry.
again.
Exactly, right. So yeah, that's that. This just it kind of ends with unfortunate news. That's it for the gaming news. I don't really got much to say about what we've been playing. You got anything,
We will
Sean?
next week, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, nothing. Just Balatro on mobile.
True.
My PlayStation is packed up right now. We're moving.
Yeah. I guess I could say I have jumped back to Baldur's Gate 3. I've been doing a bunch of mods to the point where I have a spell that just gives me 10,000 gold whenever I want, so I can buy whatever I want.
What's the fun
They
in that, DJ?
I'll tell you, the game only goes from the max level is level 12, and that's just
Mhm.
the whole D&D standard thing, because once you get past 12, the actual spells you get are like apparently like world changing spells, like they're really really hype, like powerful spells, whatever.
Yeah.
Someone, I guess a team, has added a level extender to get to level 20, and then another team has added like 132 new spells for the game. Like
That's a
this
lot.
game, like the mod support is insane. Like they've added new classes into this thing, like that have their own unique abilities. People are adding like progressive weapons that like get more powerful and change as you level up through the game with the weapon. Like people have gone crazy with this thing, almost to the point of like GTA level of just like, yeah, we're gonna change a bunch of stuff. And the way that the mod support has been working is everything has to clear through, I guess, PlayStation or like Larian Studios or however they're still like working through.
Yeah.
So when you put something when you download something on the PlayStation, there's no like risk of it like destroying your save file, destroying your stuff, because it all is guaranteed to work. So it's been cool. I've been having fun with it. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, maybe next week I'll have something to talk about it. Oh wait, doesn't Dragon Age come out soon? We're at 31st. Oh, Call of Duty comes out.
This Friday.
Yeah. Well, oh yeah. Yes, I can play the story. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, we'll talk about it when we get it. So as it is, this is the end. We've done it. We've gotten all the way to the finish line of another episode of Press X Star Gamers Digest. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we enjoy making it. Don't forget to please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the
Shin Bill.
notification bell. It's late, guys. I need to I need to like stop talking. Been talking all day. Um, to myself. Yes, because yes, do those things. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. If you're listening, please leave us a review on Spotify. Tell your friends. Still like the YouTube channel. Join, subscribe because we want to see that number grow. As I said earlier, because growing is what matters, and that's important. In the end of the day, we all want to grow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Bye. Go to bed. Play games. Wash your hands. Be safe. Eat some food. And vote. Vote in this election. I'm gonna go ahead and say it for Kamala. If you vote for Trump, I want to hear you. We don't want your what engagement? I don't know, man. Just bye.
Hilarious.